A lot of Americans are actually starving their children of love and they don't even realize that they're doing it. The children who are not getting sufficient love from their parents end up going to their friends or other places to try to get their love that they're not getting in their life. Consequently, they make a lot of bad decisions. Here are 7 very simple ways that you can show love to your children that can literally change their life. First encounters after absences are the most important moments. It's like a form of conditioning, psychological conditioning for how they see themselves and how other people see them. So when you first see them in the morning, or you first see them after school, or whatever it is, that's your opportunity. Greet them with a big smile, a big hug. Tell them that you love them, that you're so glad that they're home, that you're so glad you get to see them, that you're glad that you are their parent and that they're your child. Make it really positive with lots of love and lots of smiles. That's probably the easiest and most simple thing that you can do to help your child really feel loved. Number 2, at some point during every day, you need to have a conversation in which you are listening to your child. So you're going to have to figure out how to ask questions that are interesting for them that they want to answer. This is often easiest to do at bedtime. Children really want to talk at night for some reason. So as you're putting them to bed, ask them questions that you can get good answers to, and then just listen. Show genuine interest in what your child is saying. This will help build a relationship with you. It only takes a few minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, and it makes a huge difference for your child. Number 3, if your child is protesting about some rule or something that you're doing, take time to explain it to them. So for example, if they're saying, well, why can't I just watch screens all day? It's totally okay for you to say, it must be frustrating because looking at screens is so fun and it seems like I'm just keeping you from doing all these fun things. Would you like me to explain to you why I've made this a rule that we limit screen time? Do you really want to hear why? And if they say yes, then explain it to them. You can say that, this has been researched and the leading experts in the world say that we should limit screen time to a shorter duration for our children because it's better for their mental health. They're likely to be more happy and more successful in life if we don't let them watch screens for excessive amounts of time. You're less likely to be depressed and anxious. And because I love you, I want you to have a good life. And I know how hard it is to, not look at these screens. And so that's what we have parents for, is to help you make good decisions. Explaining rules is okay. In fact, it's a good thing to do. Otherwise, you seem like a cruel dictator. When you take the time to explain, it shows that you care. And you can definitely express empathy in there. Like, I know, I get it. This is really hard. I know how you feel. All right, number 4 is play games with them. Find something that they like to do and do that with them. Maybe it's Fortnite. Maybe it's basketball. Maybe it's Frisbee. Maybe it's drawing pictures. Find something and do that with them. It can just be 5 minutes, but spend the time. When you have made deposits in your emotional bank account, that really helps out later on when you want to enforce rules. They won't feel like you are just an enemy. They will want to do good things that please you because they have a relationship with you. You are their friend. Another thing that you really need to do, number 5 here, is empathize. Relate with them. So often when kids are having a hard time, let's say they have to do their chore and they're, I don't want to do my chore, and they're complaining and things like that. Like, I get it. I totally understand. It's so hard to do chores sometimes. I really understand where you're coming from. I used to feel exactly the same way when I was a kid too, and it was just really hard for me. That's what friends do. Enemies are like, come on, just get over it. Just do it. Quit complaining like a little baby. Like, that's what bullies do. Don't be a bully to your child. Number 6, probably the most important one, in my opinion, is see them as good. The way that you see your children will determine the way that your children see themselves. So if there's ever a good way for you to see your child, try to see them as a good person having a hard time, not a bad person having a bad time. And you can verbalize this. Like, look, I know you're a good kid. I know you got good intentions. I know you want to do the right thing. And this was just a hard situation. You got tempted and it was really difficult to overcome it. And I know you don't feel good about it. And I know that you're going to do better in the future because that's the kind of person you are. You're a good person. This is believing in your children, seeing them as good. And this will impact their behavior so much more than anything else you can imagine. If their parents believe they're good, they can believe that they're good. And lastly, give them chores. Hold them accountable as capable of completing the chores. Now, they've got to be reasonable chores, and you've got to start really small and slowly work up to it. But depriving your children of chores is mistreatment of them. And it's okay if once in a while you work on their chore with them. Hey, let's do it together. Today's a hard day. I have hard days sometimes too. Let's do it together. That's okay. But make sure that they have chores. Next, I'll make a list of 7 things that you should not do with your children.